We have to talk about the Etsy boycott. Laura Becker, owner of the Etsy shop Funk God, recently made trending headlines because of the removal of some of her listings from her shop forcibly by Etsy. Etsy deemed them hateful and took swift action to take them down. Etsy also assured her that should she decide to re-upload those products, that they would be removed again and her shop would be removed as well from the platform. So the question is, why is Etsy doing this? Etsy, like all websites, has a terms of service that in order for you to participate on the website, you have to agree to those terms. And because they have that, they have the right to remove anyone and anything from the website that they want. But the problem is, I don't really see anything wrong with the listings themselves. Sure, the shop owner may be a tad controversial on certain issues that, should we decide to talk about it here on this video, may even get this video banned off YouTube. So we're not going to go too much into exactly what the issues with the listings themselves are, because frankly, that's just not what we want this channel to be about. But the problem is that the listings themselves aren't exactly hateful. And I'm not just saying that because I may lean one way or another, but take a look for yourselves. Laura Becker uploaded them to Twitter, and as you can see, they don't really say anything exactly hateful or wrong on them. They're kind of just feminist leaning items, something that would not have been an issue even just a couple of years ago. So why is Etsy doing this now? And as far as I know, the term funky human female isn't exactly hate speech. And as much as I may dislike the use of funky god as her brand identity, she has every right to use it. What's obvious to me is the fact that Laura Becker became an outspoken critic of Etsy on other platforms, and she got targeted for it. And this is where the boycott comes in. If you go to Twitter and type in hashtag Etsy boycott, you're going to be met with a lot of different articles and a lot of different really angry people regarding this issue. And as much as I may agree or disagree with their anger, Etsy is a publicly traded company. Etsy has shareholders, a board of directors, terms of service. A quick Google search and we can see exactly where Etsy has spent its money lobbying in Congress. It should be no surprise to anybody who takes 5 minutes to research these sort of things where Etsy's priorities lie. And I'm not saying that what Etsy is doing is wrong, that's just the way our system works. That's the way Etsy decided to spend their money. And so we as shop owners also need to do our own due diligence and do this kind of research before we make the decisions of what we are going to be selling on Etsy. Taking the fight to Etsy is kind of a fool's errand. We've seen exactly what they will do to somebody in listings that they do not agree with, even if it's objectively not offensive in any way. Because Laura Becker became such an outspoken critic of Etsy, we know exactly what Etsy was going to be doing. This is just one of the many reasons that, along with our Etsy shop, we decided to build our own website, a place that we control, we decide what goes on there. Because when you sign up with Etsy, your shop and everything in it is completely at the mercy of Etsy and its shareholders. Again, I don't want to make it seem like I'm bashing Etsy. I am not. We all agreed to the terms and conditions when we signed up for the shop. And because of that, we have to play by their rules, and that's entirely fair. What Etsy cannot control is us setting up a second shop on our own website. And that is what I encourage every Etsy shop to do, is to get a domain and get your own website set up. The fact is, as we've seen, Etsy will remove shops and listings that they disagree with. If you want to have full control of your shop, I highly recommend setting up your own website. For example, we've always known that we wanted to sell a pro-life rosary. This is not something that, after doing that 5 minutes of research, I felt comfortable selling on the Etsy platform, simply for just running the risk of getting our shop taken down or the item removed. This is something that we feel like we definitely want to do. We want to explore, we want to work with the right charity to make this happen, but on Etsy is not the platform to make that happen. We've already seen where Etsy's priorities lie. So people are naturally looking for an alternative to Etsy, one that caters to a very certain demographic. And just in my opinion, that's kind of business suicide. Limiting your shop to only a handful of people that caters to one side of an issue isn't really a very smart move. If you're serious about wanting your shop to be successful, you have to play by the rules of the biggest dog in the game. And right now, that's Etsy. Shops are like people, but they're not exactly people. People can go down as martyrs and embolden the cause that they fight for. Businesses don't really do that. Businesses, they get shut down and they die. And then the owner of the shop is left with a ton of overhead that they cannot move. It's not exactly a blaze of glory. If you're a business and you want to play by your own rules and sell whatever it is that you want to sell, open up your own website. And if you're a customer and you want to support businesses that identify with the cause that you believe in, support them on their own website. If you go to places like Amazon or Etsy, yes, you may be supporting a small business on these platforms, but you're also supporting the platforms that they belong to. Boycotting a company like Bud Light was actually a very easy choice. Bud Light made a very unpopular decision with their consumers, and so the consumers decided to go from one bad cheap beer to the next bad cheap beer. Frankly, the bad cheap beer market in America has a lot of competitors. It wasn't exactly a very difficult decision, but with Etsy, there really is no viable alternative. And because of that, it kind of makes the boycott foolish.
I will dismantle this oppressive establishment board by board,
regardless if you support the cause or not. Boycotting Etsy is something that you can do, but I personally don't recommend it. I'm not just saying that because I have an Etsy shop.
Liar!
I'm just saying it because there really isn't a viable alternative short of the person's own website. If that person or shop that you really like has their own website, go there, absolutely, support them that way. But if you continue to buy on Etsy, you are still supporting that business.
Is that what I think it is?
Customers. Customers. Customers, everyone!
Etsy does take 9.5% plus a 20-cent listing fee for every sale, but you still end up supporting that small business. And if it makes it easier for you to actually make the purchase itself by buying on Etsy, do that. I didn't want to spend too much time on this topic because this is not something that we want this channel to be about, but I didn't see a lot of other conversations happening on YouTube with this, so we felt like speaking up about it and offering our thoughts. So that's all I got for you this time. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this helpful or entertaining in some way, please like and subscribe. Drop a comment down below. Let us know if this has changed the way you shop or if it's just people being loud on Twitter.
Loud noises!
If you want to see what a day in the life of a stay-at-home shop owner is like, my wife Kimberly, she does studio vlogs, and in those vlogs you can see all the nitty-gritty of what it's like to actually run an Etsy shop from home full-time. We get into product photography, listings, shipping, packaging, all of that stuff. If you're curious what it looks like, I'll put a link in the description for you. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, stay safe. God bless.